Okie doke. Why, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this resonates with whomever comes across this. I'm so thrilled because I'm just finding it time to share a lot of my homeschool mom pals, our journeys, our choices. I think it needs to be said how wide and vast this journey is. And something I think we all relate on is our well-being of our child, what's best for our child. And I'm so thrilled because I get to talk today with Miss Jennifer Biondo, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
The oily goddess mama.
I'm like regenerating soil now, mama, for right now. Just really
I love that. And I please share that. So Jennifer is a pal who she chose to move from Southern California into her dream home. And how's that going?
It's amazing. I'm feeling every single emotion. It's like a tidal wave of emotions sometimes. But one thing I've always wanted, it was to live in a house with a yard. And we lived in Los Angeles, and there was no way we were going to be able to afford a house with a yard and be able to have as much time as we want with our son and be able to, really value that time and not have to be working so hard to just make ends meet. So we're really happy out here to be able to have actually the house is way too big for me. I'm really hoping that like community comes. Because I'm like, there's like 4,000 square feet. I got to fill some space here and get some people in. We were living in a 1,400 square foot townhouse in Valley Village.
You were right there, right?
Yeah. We were like right in the heart of the valley, which was lovely. I did love living there. I love the valley. I love all the hikes that are close by and the community of like-minded people. I really miss that a lot. And I'm stoked though that even though I live 7 hours away, that I still really feel super connected to my LA family and community and still consider them family and community. And we still stop by one of our homeschool groups, usually like once every other month to check in with.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet. And what I love too, when you were talking about your yard, is the food you're growing now. You're even collecting water. You're homesteading. It's really cool.
I didn't not necessarily see myself going this direction, and it's just I think that was like the beauty of 2020, right? It was like a wake up call for everybody to be like, what am I doing, and how am I contributing to this world and the problems? Because it's like there's just piled on piled and piled, and you can just see like the tidal wave of problems coming my way, and I'm like, how am I going to swim my way out of it? And the only thing that could like really felt in my core being was that, where's our food coming from, and how am I sustaining my own life and my own self? And it's not something I felt like I could do living in a townhouse without a yard. So and then I started watching a lot of this permaculture stuff and what it's like to regenerate soil. And, it's wild how they're talking about just drive less or use less plastic. And it's the depth of how we can completely turn around the entire world just by regenerating our soil is like, it feels like, whoa, I could do so much by just putting boxes under the ground and putting leaves on top of the boxes and bringing the earth back to life.
Basically. Is that what it is? Because I've seen that. That's what the regenerate. You put I've seen that.
You layer on top of the soil, and then we trap all the water that comes in because it's been raining a lot, and you can trap the water on your land that will actually leach into your soil and be on your land for like years to come, because you're bringing the land just back to life. It's the same as humans. Like we need water, and the soil needs water, and it also needs to be protected from the sun being down on it. So natural in a forest, like the leaves fall down and things happen in a forest will naturally grow. But in the desert, things don't necessarily naturally grow that way. So we have to create that same kind of climate. And
that's so cool. Yeah, is your son into it?
He's one of those, he's like a lot of men in my life who are just a little impatient. And it's like, I want to see it now. Like, it's like we're creating a food forest in our backyard. It's going to be like, take time. We have to just like marinate and learn how to be. But so he's been really getting really excited. We did pumpkins so that we'd have a pumpkin to carve. So we planted in July 1st. We put the seeds in the ground, and by October 29th, one of our 5 pumpkins turned orange. So we were able to carve that pumpkin, and then we had 4 other pumpkins to like play around with and, collect seeds. And yeah, that's really fun. And then he was really excited to pick the green beans and the tomatoes. So now that he's actually seeing it, and like he won't eat tomatoes that I buy from the store, but if we pick the tomatoes off the vine, he's all about it. He'll just
that's the secret.
Yeah, you gotta grow it. They gotta see it happen. And he also hears how passionate I am and how important it is, and how like the nutrients that are coming from the food is so good for us that we're growing.
He's learning everything from you. Did you know? Wait, so when you were pregnant and he was coming into this world, did you have like this timeline you thought he was going to follow, or were you like, you were already kind of like, I don't want to go regular system, or is there anything?
That's a great question. I love that question. We tried to get pregnant for like 8 years, and my life changed so much within that 8-year span. I thought, oh, well, just you have a baby, they go to the local school. I didn't even understand the way like LA works. Like the school system in LA is just crazy in general. Like if you weren't dealing with any of the things, like any of the latest obstacles, just in general, getting your kid into a school in Los Angeles is challenging, because there's 500 or 50,000 people per square mile. So you're having a lot of people in condensed areas. So like the good schools, everybody's fighting to get into those neighborhoods. So that, I was a little stressed out, but everybody had told me like, the answers come, just trust and relax. And like, once, I was pregnant, then, we have our baby. And then around maybe 3 years old, around 3 o'clock, around 3 years old, I was like, oh shoot, we have to start figuring out schools. Is he going to go to preschool? Is he going to do, what's he going to do? And he was having some impulse control kind of things. So there was a lot of support at the, I think it's called LA Valley College. And they have a really awesome child development program there. There's a woman named Lisa Brower. I don't know if she's still there. She's just incredible, amazing, such a wonderful resource for anyone. She sometimes does these groups. I don't know if they're doing them now, but where you get together in a circle and everybody talks about the different emotions. She talks about being the container of emotions for our child. So like when our kids like exploding, we don't meet them with the same energy. Like we keep ourselves calm, and we have to be the container for all of their emotion and be able to hold that. And if we find that this was just one of the things I learned from, but if we find that we're exploding ourselves, then we need to like figure out a way to take a break away, take a time out ourselves,
That's huge.
Yeah,
I think that's a huge thing. And I kind of shared you on a little vlog earlier about that, because I love that you take the time for yourself. You have me time, and it's quality time, little roller girl.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's like
you got your witchy peeps, and you got your roller skates.
My roller skates.
And you say, this is my time, and you stick to it. I think that's the hardest thing for moms. Like, oh, I'm going to be flexible. I can do later. Like, no, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
you do that so well.
Figuring out what my non-negotiables are, because I have to, like, if my cup is empty, then I'm going to be pouring from an empty cup. And so everything's going to come out as resentment. One thing I learned from a hypnotherapy teacher at my hypnotherapy school I went to was that whenever you're feeling resentment, it's you literally just need to turn on the self-care to the max. So like ridiculous amount of self-care, because our resentment is coming from exhausting ourselves and giving too much of ourselves and giving from an empty cup. So it's
That's
important.
a good reminder.
Yeah, exactly. I had a really wonderful rhythm in LA, and we've been here now 8 months in Arizona, and haven't quite found in LA. It was a non-negotiable. Every Wednesday I went roller skating from like 2 p.m. till the sunset, and like I was unaccounted for. Nobody knew where I was or where time I was. They just knew I would be. I'll call you guys after sunset, basically. And it was like a date with myself and the sun.
Yeah.
I loved the sun, so I still love the sun. I dance in my backyard with the sun. So I do need to turn up. It's a good reminder for me too, because I do need to turn up the self-care, my time ritual. I do Tuesday nights. I try to lock myself in my bedroom and do sound bowl and meditations and ohms and groans and moans and cries and all the things.
You got enough rooms to choose from. You can have a sound bowl room.
No kidding. Oh my gosh. I think I'm going to do a fire in our backyard tonight for the full moon.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, yeah, so carving time for yourself is a must. And
Yes.
were you doing that since he was a baby, or
No. Oh my gosh. Thank you for
because that's
asking. Yeah. He was colic. So the first 3 months, the first 6 months was torture. The first 6 months of his life was like, there's a reason sleep deprivation is a war torture, because it's absolutely it's insane. He couldn't sleep. He projectile vomit every time he drank, all over my hair. He wore these big giant bibs. Anyways, it was totally traumatizing, and I completely lost myself. So once he was 2, he was still breastfeeding at 2, still co-sleeping at 2, and I was starting to feel violated. I was at a certain point, I was like, this guy's like a spider monkey tearing my clothes off. Like, he is like ripping my shirt off and saying booby, booby, booby everywhere we're going. Like he owns me. And
aw.
I know, it was so tough. So then that was actually, at that point, I was already a year into using the doTERRA oils, and they were having a convention, and they were like-minded people. I mean, I've really found my people and my tribe through the oils, and even what I'm doing with regenerating the soil now through that company. So it was like such a blessing. But I found them when he was born, because he was having all the stomach issues, and my friend had suggested I tried this Digest Zen. Anyways, long story short, I went to the convention for like 5 days in Utah, and that was like cut.
That was your first baby away. Like,
And my
oh
baby
wow.
away, and it was
Yeah.
cutting him off. I had to cut him off cold turkey because he refused to wean. I tried everything, and we had a guide that had talked us through, like, my husband being there with him and wife rubbing his back until he'd fall asleep and giving him water, and it was a beautiful transition. And then when I came back, I like had zipped my shirt all the way up to my neck and was like, it's off limits. I'm dried up. The well is dried up. But yeah, so I didn't. I don't even remember the question. Sorry.
Oh, I don't even remember either. Oh, that was your me time. That was your first round of me time.
Oh yeah, that was when that was my first round exactly of me time. And then through that, I think it was kind of, I think my doTERRA business has been more like kind of like a hobby, in a way to like connect with the community through nature, and like the natural healing modalities. And that's where I kind of like discovered how corrupt the FDA was, and didn't realize like what was going on in our world. And it was also through a lot of like-minded people that I actually realized how corrupt the pharmaceutical company was. And that's when I started to question what I was going to be putting into my baby. I had gone to a natural path, and she had gone through, like, if you're going to do any of these childhood vaccines, don't follow the CDC's recommendations. That's criminal. But if you're going to do them, I would wait till this age, this age, this age. If you do them, take these things, these things, these things. And at that time was when the school systems were starting to say that they were going to be required to have vaccines. And I was like, okay, maybe we're going to give him like 2 or 3, but heck no, I wasn't even planning on giving him MMR or any of the other ones at the time. We had with her guidance, we had started him on like a very slow schedule, and we were going to give him just a few. But then, even following her schedule, I noticed like one day he had a fever, and like my intuition all along, that's why I went to her in the first place, was like, this is not a good thing. And then the more I did my own research, and the more I did my own studying, the more rabbit holes I went down, I realized like this is not an option. Like we're stopping. I'm not even going to continue going with the cycle that the natural path recommended. No more. I don't want any more. Like we can't, we're already dealing with this, what's spread in the skies, what's in the food, all the things. I didn't want to put any more heavy metals into his body. And so at that point, I was involved in one of the homeschool groups. I wasn't even necessarily going to do a homeschool group, but I just needed to find like-minded moms. I had my knee friends, my Yoga Galactica friends, which were all like single party people, which was great. It was a great escape, but I needed like those core moms, and I must.
Was that when he's like 3 or 4? I'm sorry to interrupt. When you start
looking for Heather. Yeah, that's when I met Heather and Lindsay, and I was and a girl named Alicia. I was just at Fryman Canyon one day having like a picnic with just Scout, feeling so lonely, like a lonely mom. And I'm doing that now. So I have to trust that just the way that things came about in LA, they will come about for me here too. And I think I was like really at a low, like, I'm like, we don't have community, we don't have much. I'm just feeling sad or whatever. And this girl, Alicia, was like, oh, we meet here at Scouts, my son, who's 8. He started talking to one of the other little kids and they were playing. And then the girl, Alicia's like, oh, we come here every Wednesday at 11. And I'm like, oh, awesome. And there was a Facebook page, but I didn't join the Facebook page. And we went there Wednesday at 11. And that's where I met a lot of the moms that were talking about all the stuff that's going on with the vaccine stuff. And then I started following a lot of people. And then I was like, whoa, like I was just started really just wrap my head around and grasp the level of like, I couldn't even fathom that.
Right. The attack, the war on the kid. Yeah.
And I know this is not what this discussion is about, but it kind of is in that's what kind of led me to homeschool. Honestly, it's like, at first we went to Dr. Ham and he gave us an exemption, a medical exemption. And then we're like, okay, we always knew that at any point in time, these medical exemptions could be going away. Like we've heard it through the grapevine, and we knew that it's possible that it could go away. So we knew that that homeschooling might be in the cards someday. But we were just buying time, and I was wanting to get them socialized and getting me some time to work, because it was by the time he was 5, we got him into a charter school called Riverside Drive, and he got the best teacher named Mr. Burrell, who was the most amazing, kind-hearted. Like I knew that I did want to be involved in school, so I signed up with PTA. I was like the room mom. I came in, I did art with the kids on Fridays.
That's so sweet to do that. They see that, they feel it,
Yeah. And so I love kids. Like I love kids. I want to teach kids. I would love for our home here to become like teaching children how to regenerate the soil in their own backyards, right? So
ding, ding, ding.
I definitely want to expand. Like that's part of moving out here is about expansion.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't feel that way.
No.
But did you reminiscing about what happened?
Oh no, did you stay in Riverside School for a while?
So we did. So we stayed in Riverside School. I was really loving it. It was really nice. The moms were fine and nice. And
it was a charter, you said.
It was a charter.
Okay.
So it was really sweet. It was really like everything you would want in a school. It was down the street from our house. It was like they would do like movie nights for Halloween, and like it was just like the kids got together and played on playgrounds, and it was like, yay,
you did it.
We did it. We got them into a school we feel happy about. And obviously we're open, that we know that anytime the ball could drop and we could be looking into homeschools. So then then in March is when they shut things down, and we're like,
March 2020.
Gosh.
Yep.
Yeah, 2020. We thought this was going to be 2 weeks. We went and bought as many crafts as we could muster into 2 weeks, and it turned into 2 years. And and
what grade was he in? Or he was in second or first?
He was in kindergarten when that happened.
Okay.
So we had first grade. So while we were all navigating everything, hopefully my sound is okay. I've noticed my voice is bouncing off.
It sounds great, but can you hear of course Gardner started, both started. I'm like,
oh yeah. Okay.
Can you hear it on your end?
A little bit, but not too much. It's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, so that happened, and then Riverside School went online. Okay. And they did like an online school. This is when my husband was still all in with what was happening. He was like masked up, like he was all in. He was terrified, and I was terrified for a little while, but then it started to get to where I'm like, I don't care if I'm scared. I'm not living like this. Like I'm a people person. Like if I'm isolated with just I won't make it. So like, what's the point? Like I either gonna, not make it through whatever other ways, escapism or whatever, or I was going to have to like figure things out. And this is when I started like through my doTERRA community. Oh my gosh, so many blessings. There all of the different natural remedies coming out. You know what I mean? It's like, I just felt so empowered because I'm like, I have these protocols. I have these remedies. We are going to be fine. Don't worry. All these naturopaths have been doing all of these early treatments. Everything's going to be fine. And then then finally my husband wised up. I think I sent him enough videos and I was adamant enough. And he was in the army. And so he got to like really firsthand see some of the corruption and some of what was going on. And he was already on board with some of this stuff. So once I presented, the evidence, then he was like, okay, you can't deny it. And luckily he was open enough.
That's so nice. He's ready to receive it. And you had all that knowledge and the education from Duterte, all that stuff that all kind of came together at the perfect time.
Yeah. All the right people and exactly. And like, I had all those little baby steps that led me to realizing what was really going on. And then, so he did homeschool that whole year online, but we got him together with some of our pals from Nature's Way, which was the group that we were getting together with in Franklin Canyon.
And they weren't afraid. They were still gathering.
They were still gathered. We were still, everybody, I think, took a little moment of pause that I knew that wasn't sure. Yeah. And then, it took like 6 months, some people a year, some people a year and a half, but most of the people in my circle, most of the people were like, not all of them actually, some. But the ones that were going to go in the homeschool direction were the ones that stayed in alignment. And then that ended up being like that was going to be our only choice. And then I met another mom who actually, oddly enough, was just choosing to homeschool because she doesn't really like the school system, but she was still buying the propaganda. She's still she still did the things, and it's fine. And there's room for everybody. But she actually was like, she always knew she wanted to homeschool. And so she actually had already done like lots of research. And I'm a type of person that really hates screens. I know I'm like old school, old timey, but I don't want to just sit and do tons of research on my phone. Yeah. I want to be out and meeting somebody that's going to be in alignment. And basically that's what she did. She just was like, oh, we were looking to the Sage Oak School and this other school. And then I sent them to my husband, and then he entered Scout into this thing, and he got accepted into Sage Oak, like the only school that we submitted to. Yeah, and then they were saying they had an online program, and we're like, well, he did fine on the online program we did, as long as we have other groups. Because I didn't want to teach the academics, like I didn't want to do the English, I didn't want to do the math, I didn't want to do the history, I didn't want to try and come up with a curriculum. I didn't want to try all different kinds of curriculums. So I found the one that was necessarily right. Doesn't mean I'm not going to still do that. Yeah. But just in that moment, I was just felt way too overwhelmed. Do you know what I mean? So I was totally. This got presented, and then the online part was only 3 days a week for 3 hours a day. So I'm like, okay, great. He'll get in his learning, his spelling, his English, his grammar, his math, his science. He'll get that in during that 3 hours. And then I'll be responsible for all the extracurriculars, right? So like getting him socialized, getting him out with friends, playing in nature. Like for me, I'm like, you don't even need school. We'll just throw you in nature and you'll figure it out. But I know it takes a lot more than that. And that's why I look to my community to help support me. And so the Sage Oak School doing his 3 hours online has been awesome when we were in LA. Okay. Because there's so much community now. Oh my gosh. The homeschool community is like booming. And
it is, isn't it?
It's incredible. Like it's next level, because you have to think about it. People have been for 5 years. People have they were already ready. People for 5 years have been known.
SB 277, right?
SB 277. Exactly.
That's when the law was coming in, the mandates. Do you know what I had to do? Because Huck was only 2, and Charlie already started at that little Waldorf, and I got tipped off, and I went to City Industry in a back alley, and I went in this creaky little unmarked door, and this sweet little Hispanic man who barely spoke English. I didn't speak Spanish, and for a couple hundred, he did the letter thing. And the school was saying, just give me something, give me some paper. It wasn't like a religious exempt. It was the medical exempt. They go, something to grandfather him in, even though he's not starting for another year, we'll have him in the file. And I'm like, thank you for tipping me off to do this. And then cut to 5 years later with this March 2020 madness, that same school, they wound up masking and pushing all of it. Like the Waldorf Institute of Southern California went total agenda because it's, I think, money. But anyway, I was that back alley chick. Like, Come on,
Yeah,
got
yeah,
any
yeah, yeah, yeah.
medical
Can
exemptions,
somebody
man?
give me a medical exemption?
We did what we had to do, people. We did what we had to do. And so this has been a long, long fight. So yeah, homeschool was in my mind, but I didn't want to do the part. I'm like, I'm not a teacher. I'm like, I
Right.
can't do the curriculum. Put them in the Waldorf. I thought I was safe there. Nope. That rug
Oh,
went away. But anyway,
and then what happened? And so then what did you guys do then for
we relaxed for a year. We literally got used to, for 2020, they had to get used to me being at home, and I had to get used to that. I felt my body atrophy. Like I was going through the worst atrophy pains I've had. I didn't realize what a machine, how I was working. And
Yeah.
I'm getting loud because of the blower. And then we only did online, at least Huck's kindergarten stopped. They offered some stories, but then Charlie's third grade kept going till June. And then we didn't pick it up again for fall. So it was me. It's just me. And I tried. I was like, I did a morning verse, and then I'm like, want to swim? Let's go swimming for gym time. And
Yes.
that was it until we started a pod. And that only really lasted 4 months or so. But I felt like I was doing something, and we socialized. That was the thing. So for Charlie, for my daughter, I have to catch her up to like the 4th grade she missed. She missed a lot of important educational skills.
Oh, yeah, 4th grade.
Yeah. And Huck just basically he missed, what he missed? He missed 1st grade. And so he missed some of the basics too, but he jumped right in. She's had a little bit more of a struggle. But to me, I realized we're just getting used to being around each other 24/7, as well as my dreams kind of came true. I was the breadwinner and all this stuff in the household, but I was gone more than 50% of the time, at least mentally 90% of the time, but physically I was gone 50. And I'm like, I'm here now. How do I get in there in their consciousness and do this? But that 2015 drama stuff, and even when they were born, I as well, Huck got nothing because Charlie, I tried the spreading him out the Dr. Sears way, and she had a seizure. They wouldn't help me. They wanted to do it over. Right, Belle? And I had to dive in. I had no community, so I had to teach myself what was going on. And I had moms that I used to teach with in Chicago that started the Thinking Moms Revolution. They started sending me books, and I just started digesting it all. And by the time he was born, he didn't have any, but she was the guinea pig in my difficult lesson. So, when I started seeing the laws change, oh my God, I go back on those Facebook memory bumps. I was seething. I was like, da, 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 like,
yes.
It was so crazy, but it was just reminding me in 2020, by then the tribes were forming. I kind of was finding the others. I wish we weren't connected yet again at that time. I think it was 2021 finally. Well, it was maybe a goddess thing where we reunited ourselves, because 2020, we had the best parties we ever had. And I get trolled on social media for saying that, but I'm like, we were the beacon. We were the place that people were looking for. So I stepped that up and showed my kids the way shower thing.
That's so wonderful. Yeah. Honestly, like that's the thing that's been, community is really everything. And so I think that's what's so amazing about Los Angeles is that there's anything you can plug in at anytime. There's like hundreds of things going on every single day, all day long, for anyone, any place.
Any place. Ryman Canyon. That's where we reunited again. Remember when our friend took us out, and then the kids, Scout and Huck, met, and it was just like, that place is magical. So if anybody's looking for community, check out the mamas.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, it's really great. I actually, I was talking on like a Facebook. The only thing that's great for Facebook's left is that like the groups, like there's so many groups of where you can actually meet people and find people in there. And I was talking about needing on there about needing community for my son and trying to find something. And somebody had recommended I check out this Thrive page. And it was this park in Altadena, and they were doing a show and tell. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Like, that's adorable. Like all different ages of kids. And I brought Scout, and he did his little show and tell, and all the kids ran around after, and they got to see what kids' different interests were. And then you could talk to the kid about what your different interest is, depending on, so that was a really great little icebreaker. And then that same group got together at like a hiking place with a little creek right next to JPL. And
Oh, yes.
they would get
Yeah.
together every Monday. So
Okay.
on Mondays we were on the creek from like 1 to like 5. And then when we would go to the park from like 12 to 5 every day. And like he was playing and like interacting and like coming up with all these imaginary things, and the kids would play in the bushes. What was cool about the park, it wasn't like a park with jungle gyms or anything like that. It's just hills and trees.
Yeah.
And
That's the education, I think. Yeah, because they're learning now social skills. They're formulating this strong core body so that when they get the lessons, they're like, woo, they're in it.
yes. Yeah, it felt really good. So I'm still kind of looking for that out here. So far, it's like there's quite a bit of religious groups, which is fine. I don't have anything against that. My kid is not that like he's gonna be saying the F word probably any second, and he's like he'll fall and be like, God damn it, and I'm like, ah! so it's like, I don't want him to like get bullied or the parents not to like him or anything like that, because he's, that's not going to be his jam. So we are going to a music festival in next month, or like a camp out music festival, hoping to meet some like-minded families there. Yeah.
So you're still finding others there, and that's not too shabby. You've only been there, 7 months? And you got the land growing, and everything's happening. I think that's fabulous, because the move is traumatic in and of itself.
Oh my God.
It's a lot. Well, you were saying you were doing Sage Oaks here. when you moved out of Cali, so you weren't allowed to stay in that?
Oh, so we actually got an address out there that it's a PO box, but it's one that has a regular address.
Okay.
And so we kept that address just for the rest of the year so that he could finish out this schooling. So right now we're actually like hitting the ground, just like asking all around about the schools. Not schools necessarily, because I still, honestly, like after homeschooling and really learning a lot about what's going on, take away the agenda, take away pandemic, take away the shots thing. Like when you actually really get down to what they're teaching them in school and what's happening at school, like it's 6 or 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like,
I know. And the learning is like an hour and a half is like the main lesson, right? Yeah. 2 hours.
And if that's not, like, to me, an indoctrination into a slave system, I don't know what is, because that's just like, but it's just so many hours. And I know, I get it, they're doing that because most people work, and I feel super duper fortunate right now I go out to LA once a month. I massage for like as many people as I can possibly massage in 4 days. And then I come back, and then I have all that time free that I can spend. And my husband is also home and working on making a production company, and just works from home. Mm-hmm. So we get to spend a lot of time with our son, but we're also living proof that like it can be done without having to work, in those kinds of hours and
the cubicle conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Really rough. And I know, we could be still in LA busting ass just to live there. But it was just a lot. And also my husband is, he's actually 100% disabled from being in the Army. And for him, he has PTSD. And so being in the city with so much happening is just like, it's really hard on his, like his system for his, what's it called? Hypervigilance. He's always like scoping out and not feeling safe. So like he has this like certain amount of like relaxation that comes with living out here. And it's just this extra, like, it's super peaceful.
That's so sweet. And that's sweet for your son to see too, because he's probably got a chilled out dad, that's like resting into his his man castle.
Man castle. That's exactly. It's so funny because it was like, I just wanted a nice kitchen with a nice sized yard. And that was like all I cared about. And then like, he's the man that's like, I want to get the most for my money. You know what I mean? It's like, no, dude.
Which is awesome when you selling in LA and moving out there. Holy smokes. You scored.
Oh my gosh. Insane. It's insane. The whole price difference. It's totally.
Well, I'm hearing you're wanting to find more others, some others, and more like minds, and that it's still kind of up in the air what's happening with the education, but you're you're obviously going with the flow and letting universe guide. And it's probably daunting, and I'm sure you've been told it before, but would you ever not be the educator yourself, but put together a pod or do something with your
Absolutely.
space? Or
I would love to do that. I mean, I would love to do that.
Cool.
Finding like minds. I've thus far, I have found one of the guy that put in the water tank, 2 guys put in the water tank. Amazing dude. Like I feel so blessed just in that. Like one of the first things we wanted to do when we came here was to harvest the rainwater that came in the monsoon season. So we were able to harvest 2,700 gallons of water within like a week, in like a week's time. And the guys that put in the giant tank in our backyard, were like 2 hippie dudes, long hair, like man bun, dreadlocks. I was like, yes. And then, my military husband's like, oh, my wife's gonna love you guys. But yeah, I do. I love them. They're so great. And they were talking about one of the guys, his girlfriend, who has a 9-year-old daughter. She works at the Southwestern Healing Arts College that's out here. And it's called SWEHA. I don't know if I said it correct, but what the acronym is. But she teaches like sound healing, and I want to do sound healing. So she has sound healings every Sunday on the new moon and the full moon. So, but it's really nice because I can take Blaine and Scout, and they're actually been open to going with me. So that's already like a nice connection. They are like 45 minutes away, but it's fine.
Oh, hey, that's like driving to the grocery store in LA traffic.
That's true. I know. Yeah, that is one thing that we realize is that we're just, we're going around the same amount of time in a car, but we're going really far rather than like 8 miles to go to Santa Monica, which is like,
You're like, I can see it.
Exactly.
I just can't get there.
Exactly.
The frequency was a lot, down where we were. So it's just so nice to see you all catch your breath and, expand. I think that's so huge. That's everything.
Yeah, if you guys want to come stay with us, we have plenty of room.
I'm excited. I'll bring some roller skates.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So that's the other thing I've been loving is roller skating in the house. It's been like, that was like how when we picked out our floors that we were going to have in the house, they had to be durable enough to withstand roller skates, because I'm like, I'm going to have a roller skating rink in my house. It's going to be
Oh, I freaking love it. That's so cool. That's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you, Jennifer.
My pleasure.
If we end a little hopium note, I guess the key notes here: follow your bliss and trust your intuition. That's everything.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like even when you became a mother, that just got heightened, and it was like, it's not all about the child. It's all about the family unit and what's best for you guys as a family.
Totally. Yes, that's beautiful. I love the way you wrapped that up.
Oh, well, do you have any closing remarks? Can people come your way for oils? Or I'm so excited for you with the sound bath, by the way.
Essential oils. I can hook you up. If you want to learn about regenerating soil, I'm learning right now, actually. So
hey, that sounds really cool. If that kicks off into like some sort of class or something, there you go.
Yes,
that would be really fun.
I definitely want to be, I'm learning it myself. So as I learn, I'll know more and more as it keeps going. But it's like, it's a miracle. There's the intuition. I swear I'm a fairy. Like, I know I'm a fairy.
Oh, I know you are.
It's legit. Like, I'm 5 feet tall. Nobody can see that out there, but I just connect so much. I'm out there. My husband he has everything. Everything is like, we're polar opposites. Like, he's like cameras on every corner of the house. We have Wi-Fi like blazing through. He goes to sleep with his Wi-Fi earbuds every single night. I know. Like, yeah, exactly. He gets a migraine. He takes his medicine. It's like, dude, total opposites. But
what a balance though. Like,
yeah, it's perfect balance. Yeah, we are yin and yang, and it's totally aligned. But out there, when I'm working on the yard, it's like, it speaks to me, and I'm like, dude, your watering system's overwatering. Can you just turn off all your electronics and I will water the land? The plants are getting too much water.
I love it. Really, you are so elemental. And I know we have all the same things. We got our Scorpio sun, Aquarius moon, and Sag rising, right? Are we the same? Yes. We got to find out all the other ones, because we're just
basically
crazy.
The same person.
And tomorrow, tonight's full moon, but there is a community, if the rain holds, because we've still been getting doused since you left again. And there's a big community sound bath in the park. There's supposed to be like 11 or 12 practitioners in a circle.
Oh,
So I hit up the middle school and like the classes, and there's a few we're all going to try to gather and go the day before we go back to school, if the rain holds up. But that I'll be thinking of you for that.
yay, please do. It sounds so incredible. I love that you have
And
that
when-
out there. I love that it's only a 7-hour drive and a
I
1-hour
know.
flight away.
It's beautiful. And when you kind of find the groove with the sound baths and, you know, your mission, we're there. We're your first customers and clients, and we're signing up. And I'll get a minivan. I'll bring a little school bus. I'll be
Yes,
that lady in the
school bus.
school.
We'll have a little retreat.
Yes.
We'll all roller skate around and learn about the soil.
Yes, perfect. And taste a little planet too. Okay. Oh, well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for kicking off the homeschool lifestyle, because it's vast, it's different.
Oh my gosh.
It's full of passion. That's what I can see. So
many options.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And
thank you.
Yeah. And thank you to everybody for joining who's tuning in. Peace and have a beautiful one.